Hi there, thanks for watching this video. I'll be talking about strengthening communities through essential tech training and resources. My name is Cami Griffiths, and I am the founding executive director of digitalLIFT. I have over 20 years of experience working with the digital divide, and that experience brought me to teaching over 300 people how to use the computer. I helped establish digitalLIFT in 2008, and we started with a tiny little budget of 12,000 and have grown it to over 3 million. I'm also a founding board member of the National Digital Inclusion Alliance, and I speak nationally about this topic of digital inclusion. So the vision of digitalLIFT is a world where people are empowered to use technology to thrive in connected communities. And our mission is to provide essential training and resources to communities impacted by the digital divide. So today's presentation, I will talk about the problem and its impact, the solution that digitalLIFT has come up with. I will show our successful track record for addressing this need, and I will ask you for some help. So the problem and its impact. So the digital divide, you may have heard this phrase being used over the years in different ways, but the way that we think of it is the gulf between those who have ready access to computers and the internet and those who don't. This cartoon shows it really well. Two young kids running out the door, one of them saying, "Our first virtual lesson is about the digital divide, so we're going to McDonald's to use their Wi-Fi," which is very sad that children have to go to a fast food restaurant to use the internet and not from the comfort of their own homes. So what causes the digital divide? It is an affordability problem. The cost of paying for monthly service for broadband or paying for a device is just beyond the reach for some people. The availability or accessibility of broadband isn't there. So rural areas, even some urban areas, lack a reliable broadband, so high-speed internet that's, again, affordable, or that it's simply not performing very well, that you're paying a lot of money and not getting very good service. And then the skills, which is one of the things that digitalLIFT focuses on. People who lack the digital skills aren't able to access websites because they don't know how to use the device that they have. So the next few slides talk about the people, the demographics of the people who are impacted. And I'm going to start with the price point because that is where we see the biggest issue is just the cost and some people not having enough money to pay for it. So this graph shows broken down by devices and by broadband what percentage of people have access based on their economic situation. And you can see across the board, if you're making less than 30,000 a year, you are less likely to have all of the things. And now this slide is the same data. It's just showing based off of racial demographics. So there is Black and Hispanic adults are less likely than white adults to have a traditional computer and home broadband, the combination of those two. So it's not just an economics issue, it's also a racial issue. Now this is interesting because it shows while there is an uptick in the percentage of people who are using cell phones, you can see it's increasing for those who are make less than 30,000. But what this is showing is these are people who only use their cell phone. They don't have a broadband connection. And what this is saying is that if you make less than 30, you simply can't afford both a broadband connection and a mobile phone. So the US at large, you can see the pockets of places, the lighter colors are where there's less internet available, and then the darker where you're going to see the cities and the more affluent areas are going to have a much higher percentage of people who are subscribing to broadband. And when I say broadband, we're talking about high-speed internet, not just any internet. So we're going to talk a little bit about the impacts that this has on society. It is deepening our socioeconomic inequality, that lower income households, older adults, rural residents, and people of color are significantly lower access to broadband and devices. And these Black and Hispanic neighborhoods have 10 to 15% lower broadband access than white or Asian neighborhoods, even when the income is the same. And this limited access means fewer opportunity for jobs, education, banking, and telehealth. It also reduces civic and social participation. The essential civic activities like government services, benefits application, voting, and other local planning are all more increasingly done online. That lack of access excludes residents from public participation and engagement. Social isolation increases among seniors and people with limited mobility, and unequal access to news, culture, arts, and information reinforces social divides. It widens health disparities. The lack of broadband limits access to telemedicine, online health information, appointment scheduling, and remote monitoring. Rural, low-income, adult, older, and minority populations are disproportionately affected. Communities without broadband often overlap with communities already experiencing poor health outcomes, compounding the inequity. And lastly, educational achievement gaps. Students without home broadband or a computer face major barriers in homework, research, and blended remote learning. These gaps reduce educational attainment and slow digital skills development. Over time, this homework gap becomes a long-term barrier to upward economic mobility. So our solution at digitalLIFT is to bring different groups together because we feel like we are stronger when we are together. So if you look at us like a machine and our gears, we're connecting with healthcare, the nonprofits, counties, senior centers. We're all moving together to help that end user, that older adult, that immigrant, that formerly incarcerated person gain access at home to broadband, a device, and digital skills. And often they might need two devices, a mobile phone and something larger, like a larger screen, like a laptop or a tablet. So that's what we're focused on, are those individuals, and it takes all of these groups working together to make that happen. This shows on the left-hand side organizations that are new to digital inclusion. They're going to need more support, and we can do that. In the Bay Area, we have staff who are available who speak 4 or 5 different languages, and they can be placed at our partner locations. We recruit volunteers. We place them at the partner location to assist the partner in program delivery. So they're doing one-on-one coaching, either in person or online. They are delivering instruction in more than 10 languages, that we have contractors. When we need other languages, we hire contractors. We offer classes in person, on-site at our partner locations, as well as virtual classes for the clients of our partners. And we're doing online tech advice sessions as well. This would be one instructor to a group of people who are coming weekly and bringing their questions and asking their questions. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see partners who have more experience with digital inclusion. Perhaps they've had a digital navigator. Perhaps they had an AmeriCorps for a year and they have a little bit of experience offering classes and they want to do more. We can supplement their efforts by providing training for trainers and managers. We have curriculum that we've translated into 10 different languages. We can develop new curriculum upon request. And we have courses that are specifically for program management and volunteer training. So this is the array of work that digitalLIFT has created over the last 17, almost 18 years. And we want to bring this out to a wider audience. We do focus on individuals who are the least connected. You can see on the left-hand side the ages of the learners that we work with. These are when we are working directly with our partners, clients, this is the demographic of the people that we're serving. So more than half, a majority of the people we're serving are over the age of 65. And nearly all of the folks we work with are low or extremely low income. I mentioned translation. I mentioned that we have all these different languages. It is critically important to deliver programming in the language that the learners are most comfortable. To expect someone to learn something new also while translating it in their head is just a recipe for disaster. So we have translated our curriculum into several languages. Our trainers are fluent in that language. The screen grabs are in that language, and it links to websites that are going to be available in that language. So we take this very seriously, that the learners will thrive when the material is in the language they're most comfortable. We also care deeply about internet safety, that we cannot in good conscience teach people how to use the internet and then not teach them about internet safety. There are far too many ways to get scammed out of your money and your private information. And so we have made this curriculum available and the Train the Trainer available for free. So I want to talk a little bit about the multiplier effect that we have built and what we want to continue building with your support. So we have just a nice little graph here, a nice little diagram of digitalLIFT working hand in hand with our partners to train trainers. Those trainers then work with the learners. The trainers might be doing a one-on-one coaching on site or digital coaching online, or they might be teaching classes, group classes, or one-off workshops every couple of months. But this is what we've built. We know how to do this, we are doing this, and we want to do more of it. So what I want to propose is that with your support, we can bring on more partners to train more trainers, to train more learners, bring on more partners to train more trainers, to train more learners. And we just keep doing this. I envision big impact that we can make because of what we've already learned how to do and because of what we're already doing. So we do have a successful track record. Here's a snapshot of our last couple of years, partners in the San Francisco Bay Area. A lot of names you've probably seen. We are well respected and well known throughout the Bay Area in the area of digital inclusion. We also have programming in Central Texas. Here's a snapshot of where we are covering in the state and the partners that we're working with there. One in particular, this is outside of California or Texas. It's in Lake County, Illinois. They brought us on to train their trainers and to provide curriculum. And so we have been able to supplement, we help them get started quicker. We were able to strengthen their workforce by training 15 of their staff members. And we gave them the personalized support that they needed to get up and running with this program. And here is a quote from Kay Crandall, the digital equity manager, specifically that this has significantly enhanced their ability to bridge the digital divide, and it fostered a sense of community and collaboration among their navigators. So this is a great example, fairly small, 15 people being trained, one county in Illinois, but multiply this by 100, multiply it by 1,000. This is what I'm hoping to accomplish. So here in the blue are our partners. So these are specifically partners who have worked with us for that capacity building, the right side of that diagram. And you see an increase over time. We hardly did anything in 2020, but that is the year that people came to us asking to have help training their trainers. They asked for curriculum, and that was our indication that maybe this is something that we should invest in, which we did. And then over the years, we had more and more partners come on board, and you see this huge uptick in 2024 because of a really large grant program that happened in California. But in the green, this is where we want to go. We want to grow what we've built and bring it across the country. So what I'm asking, oh, one more before I get into my ask, which is further evidence that what we have built is growing. On the left-hand side, the blue graph shows when we have contracted with a partner, here are the number of people we enroll to be trained, either train the trainer or train the manager. So a steady increase there. On the right-hand side in orange, these are individuals who are enrolling themselves in either our free or our paid courses. So our courses are currently available on our website for a fee for anyone. And we also do customized contracts, and that's where that contract, the left-hand side graph shows. So there is an increase over time in the usage of these tools. So how can you help? So with your investment, we continue to build the foundation that will help us develop partnerships with 750 partners that will then train 3,000 digital navigators over the next 5 years. And we have no idea how many learners could be served by those 3,000 trainers. It could be far more than 30,000 because one trainer can keep training people year after year after year. So we are breaking this down into 3 phases. So year 1, this year, to just establish a robust marketing and sales infrastructure, focus on pipeline development, partner identification, and initial market penetration. We have been attempting to do this for the last year and a half with not a lot of success. We really need to invest in the right kind of sales and marketing team. Phase 2 is scale operations through strategic hiring and expanded service delivery, reach while continuing to strengthen our sales pipeline and market presence. And then phase 3, where we see a return on this investment by significantly increasing the digital navigator training and expanding our partner networks. So what our hope is over this year, we hope to raise $250,000 to invest in resources we currently lack. So I'm breaking it down roughly here that mostly we need to pay staff, we need marketing and sales, there's some operational costs, software and curriculum. But what we need the most, our most pressing needs right now, are for us to invest in marketing and sales team. For 6 months, that would cost around $45,000. For $30,000, it will cover the critical operating costs for a full year. And then $20,000 will support key personnel for 3 months. So if this is something that is of interest to you, I can set up another call to further discuss what our needs are and what your giving priorities are. And I hope that you will consider helping us. This is something I've been working towards for almost 18 years, and it's very exciting that we've come this far, but we also have a long way to go to reach the millions of people who still lack the access that they need every day. So thank you so much for listening and for your interest in supporting our work.